delay of, say, 4 or 5 months on this, receiving this funding, how much does that hurt you, or, I mean, is that?
We're asking for the appropriation. Whether you give it to us now or not. If this is really not tied, when you all had this in the capital plan, Midway wasn't on the radar screen. As it traveled closer to, it became apparent that what we were going to need this money for, as we always have needed this type of money for, is to develop industrial parks and industrial sites. This is the last one that's going to be anywhere close. This is 381 acres, and all the other sites that we've looked at have been 100 acres or less. That being said, if this site, for whatever reason, doesn't work, including the zoning getting reversed, and we agree with our attorney pretty strongly that it case law is pretty close on our side, then we have to take that money and turn immediately and find what you've told us to do, industrial sites, to develop and to create jobs with. We need the money whether we spend it at Midway or not. Now, having said, to go back to Commissioner Lambert, we're going to be till the springtime developing the concept plan. From there, we have to do the development documents and stuff, and we have a pretty complicated solution on the utility. So as far as us entering into any major contracts right now, I would be amazed if the court solution drags on beyond the time that we start entering into these contracts. However, if we've got to shift direction based on based on funding, far more than zoning, we need to know it right now.
So, if we were to say, defer this, let's say for 4 to 5 months, you don't think that would harm this moving forward, need be?
I think that I would, and this is probably how some of the opposition sees it, I would move, my recommendation to the Development Corporation may be that we go back and replan a brand new plan, because without this money, we can't do Midway. We could do a 100-acre tract somewhere. You're going to get a lot less. If I don't have guarantee, if I don't know that in 5 months after spending money on concept and utility plans and maybe even some upgrades, that this thing may not be there after all, I got to change directions quickly.
And the same would be true if you were to lose the lawsuit.
That's right. But zoning lawsuits are not uncommon for developers.
I guess my
funding sources is
well.
Very,
I guess my point is we need to do something. Okay, we need to do economic development, and I would want to make sure that the $7.5 million goes towards that end. And I'd hate for us to spend it out there and then not have the 7.5 to maybe go somewhere else if you were not successful in the lawsuit.
We're not going to spend those dollars at Midway without knowing that we have the zoning that's going to stand. We're not. But the other problem is we can't do Midway, period, without that $7.5 million. We have to know if that's going to be there or not now. Or we change.
Well, would you be opposed to there being a stipulation that you couldn't spend this $7.5 million until this lawsuit's cleared up?
Sure.
Well, I'd like to make an amendment to the motion that you would be opposed.
No.
Okay, you would not be opposed.
Oh hell, my lawyer, on the other hand, reins me in real darn fast.
I mean, if you're not going to be spending the money for. Until you find out how this lawsuit goes down.
Oh, I'm going to hear about this one.
Then we need to.
Operationally, we're not going to be spending. The next thing we're going to do is start working, after we do the concept plan, we're going to start resolving the utility issues. That's going to take some time, and that's going to be a while before we're actually spending dollars. That's why I'm so quick to say before those dollars, but I can tell you, if we don't know that the money's committed, Midway takes on a whole new viewpoint right now.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with giving you the money as long as we know we're going to do it. My problem is that we have a lawsuit out there, and I don't want to be spending money out there that we may not be able to recoup.
Mr. Owings, I think, can tell you that this commission has never delayed a funding of a project based on some lawsuit being out there. This lawsuit's just like any other that you get sued about zonings. Once this body acts, the courts generally defer to what this body decides it wants to do. And that's been the law in this state since I can remember. We have to have this appropriation so that we can go forward. That doesn't mean we're going to start spending the money tomorrow. This is sort of one in the line of natural things that have to occur for us to proceed. If for some reason the Midway, the lawsuit turns it around, the money is going to be there. It's not going to get spent. The money is earmarked for industrial parks. This park happens to be the one on the table right now. So this money has been earmarked, and this commission has promised, and the administration has promised to fund money for parks up to this extent, and this is what we're asking you to do. Let's appropriate the money and let's get on with the process.
But are you here telling us today that you're going to use this money towards this park, but you're going to make, before you start spending it, this lawsuit's going to be dealt with?
Of course, I can't assert what. I don't think that this money is going to be spent on this ground, or they're going to start grading prior to the outcome of this lawsuit. But that doesn't mean that we don't need the money now. It's part of the process. I mean, right now we're going through the process of going to MPC and doing the things we've got to do. If the money's not there, it's difficult for us to go to MPC and put the concept plans in and go through the process. This is the beginning of the process, and we need to have the money earmarked.
Let me say this.
Can I just get back to that, and then I'll be done. I'm just going to make an amendment to the motion that we appropriate this money, but it cannot be spent at Midway Park until the lawsuit has been resolved.
Does the maker of the motion accept?
I mean, if you want to put it.
Yes, I did.
You want to put it down?
I don't accept. And I'd be glad to say why if I get the opportunity.
Well, let me say this. It's 4:21, and we've got zonings. We've still got a couple more items. Do we want to wait and hear this after zonings, or we want to keep going?
Oh, let's finish it.
Okay. Commissioner Mills.
Yeah, I don't want to get into an argument or debate with what's been said. But there was a comment made that this project at Midway Road wasn't even on the radar screen when we set up our capital plan stuff. I'm going to disagree with that.